Ben,
Jacobs,
are you excited?
I am excited.
It is almost Chag Shavuot Zaman Matan Toratenu
Mm-hmm. It's pretty exciting.
Atzeret.
Yes, I need to get my. I don't know if I'm gonna make it the whole night, but I need to get some kind of
Some kind.
curriculum going.
Well, are you going somewhere?
I'm not going anywhere. Um,
You're going to try to stay up all night by yourself?
no, no, no. So I'm probably not gonna make it, but I'm gonna try to make it until maybe chatzot. What is it? 1:30?
I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, Nets is 5 a.m. tomorrow here. So all of the places that are davening nets are going to be at 5. I actually know some people who will stay up all night, get some sleep, and then say their prayers.
And then say the prayers. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty. It's pretty good. Yeah, I don't think I'm yet. I'm still recovering from my cold, so I
not
have
a
to take
hundred
care.
percent yet. Do you
Sorry,
at least have a tikkun? Did you print out? It's only about 200 pages.
I asked my rabbi, and the rabbi called. I asked him, "Is there anything like? Is there anything going on? Because like, is there anything official going on that people are meeting?" And he was like, he basically told me, "Listen, we have like 200 pages to go through. We can't handle other people coming in and like we don't do like sessions together. We're like we really need to focus on the 200 pages."
That's funny because like it might be the only night that Chabad really does a tikkun.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know. I mean, most Chabad synagogues I've been to, yeah, there are a couple of people who are sitting there seriously reading tikkun, but a lot of people are just sitting around talking.
Yeah, I mean, the last Chabad that I went to, there was just a class that we went through the Kuzari.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, so that was fun, and it was a late class, it was until like 11 p.m. or something. So, but from there, people pretty much.
Look, especially if you're a beginner, there's nothing wrong with spending the night saying Tehillim.
That's true.
Despite the fact we don't usually say Tehillim, the night of especially Shavuot, which is the um, David HaMelech,
Your side,
is your site, yes. So,
yes. So
yep.
lots of stuff.
Why, thank you, Fraud. That's very nice of you.
Oh well.
We probably should get started because we're not going to be going very long.
Previous, are we on epistle 8?
I thought so. That's what I looked at.
I mean, maybe I looked at like a
Did you have us on episode 7
um
or 9?
no. So the last one was 2 weeks ago, and I'm seeing epistle 6. Wait, no, no, wait a minute. Yes, epistle 6.
Okay, so I guess we should be on episode 7.
So, no, like did we didn't start epistle 6.
We didn't even start episode 6.
I don't think.
Zorat Tzedakah Schar Emet. No, we definitely did. We definitely did
Right.
6
So next.
because we yeah, I remember doing 6.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
especially since I yeah.
Go. Okay. I know.
Pretty. I'm 99. I mean,
Where's Donnie to tell us where we are?
Fraud should know. Fraud. Which episode were we on?
Somebody has to be writing this down.
I mean, honestly, there's nothing wrong with going over the same epistle over again, but I'm pretty sure we did 6.
Yeah. Let's see if there's. You are live. Let's see. Summary. It won't say on anything. Let's see. The speaker discusses a story from the Talmud, but the gestures. Yeah, we spoke about gestures. We express skepticism towards people who claim to have read the Talmud but cannot find specific quotes.
You know what?
Charity. Yeah, we spoke about charity.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of the epistles are about charity.
Charity.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with Chazarim. Let's do epistle 6.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
You want to go?
Let you know if I like fully remember it, then we can just move on. Okay, I'll stop reading things in the skim because they probably look pretty odd. But yeah.
Hello, Orthodox Boomer Grandma. Yes, I do a lot of live streams, and I am very much looking forward to actually talking to you at some point. But today can't be it because we have a holiday. Jewish Pentecost starts in 5 hours, less than 5 hours.
So you know the Orthodox Boomer Grandma?
Orthodox Boomer Grandma, I'm very interested in speaking to her because she was a clinical psychologist. Yes. Ooh. Eastern Orthodox. She's not Jewish. Although, actually, I think she may have been Jewish. I want to talk to you about being a clinical psychologist. Yeah, she's Eastern Orthodox.
Okay. Well, so should we?
We should. Let's.
Do you mind going through it because my voice is very?
I can go through it.
Thank you.
Zorea tzedakah secher emet. He who sows tzedakah has a reward of truth. Perush. Sheschar zriat hatzedakah. He midat emet. That when someone sows tzedakah, he receives as a reward truth. Uchti. And we have this verse, Titen emet leYaakov, that God gives truth to Yaakov, right? Ushvacha dekuchabrichu mesader neviya chulu k'mosh katuv bezohar kadosh. And here the prophet Micah speaks the praises of the Holy One in that he gives truth to Jacob. Perush, that what does that mean? Shakadosh Baruch Hu hanoten midat emet leYaakov. That God, we are praising God in that He gives to truth to Jacob. V'tzarech lahavit, and we have to understand this. V'chi ein emet b'Yaakov chas v'shalom. Does Jacob not have truth in him? God forbid. Ad shakadosh baruch hu yitend lo milamala. That it is something that's going to be given from above, because obviously, right, the 7 shepherds are embodiments of the 7 lower sfirot, and so Yaakov, who is midat hatiferet, he is the aspect of beauty, which is also truth, right? So how can we say that God gives him truth, since in a very real sense, truth emanates from Yaakov? Hine mudat zot, the midat Yaakov, he midat rahmanut. right? So to understand this, we have to understand that Jacob is Rahmanut, right? Compassion. So we say Abraham is Chesed, Yitzchak is Gevurah, and Yaakov is a combination of the two, compassion, right? Not merely loving kindness or justice, but the two together. The avodat Hashem b'midat rahmanut, right? And the service of God, most specifically through prayer, is through compassion. Hi haba'a mehit'orut rahmanim rabim belev ha'adam al nitzotz elokut shebenafsho. This comes about when a person awakens compassion from above on that spark of divinity, of godliness that is embedded in his soul. Harachoka me'or pnei Hashem ka'asher holech b'choshech havlei olam. Right? So this spark of divinity has been separated from godliness, right? Man napach mitochen napach. He who breathed deeply. And so the godliness that came to us from God himself is, in a sense, in exile in the darkness that is our material body.
Right. Yeah. So I think I remember this. I think I found the video that I skipped.
Aha.
It did not have the old man's, the Zaken's face on it. Logo.
What can I say?
So we are at epistle. Wait, I don't have it. But we did.
Are we at 7 or are we at 9?
Let's see.
Yeah, I know we finished 6. 7 or 8?
Trying to find out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did 7 as well. I mean, it's talking about Chelek, right? The portion, and how God is not. God is completely simple, right?
Correct. Epistle 8.
So I was right.
You're always
never
right.
forgive you.
You're always right.
What can I say? Titena emet le'akov.
On your channel. On other channels, it's debatable. But on your channel.
Okay. Epistle 8. Zorea tzedakot, matzmiach yeshuot. Right? He sows charity tzedakot and causes deliverance to sprout forth. Hine, ma shekatuv lashon zri'ah b'mitzvat tzedakah. Why is it that we constantly hear this language of sowing and seeds when it comes to charity? Zir'u lachem litzdaka, right? So like it says in Hosea 10:12, right? Sow for yourself for tzedakah. Yuvan al pi ma she'amru l'Rabbeinu zichronom levracha. So to understand this, we can look at what our sages said in the Talmud. This is Baba Batra 10a. Rabbi Eliezer yahiv pruta la'ani v'hadar matzlei tichtiv ani betzedek echzeh fanecha. Rabbi Elazar, before he would pray, he would give a coin to a poor person, and afterwards he would say his prayers. As it says in Psalm 17:15, I will see your face through tzedek, And tzedek is tzedakah. It's justice, but it is also charity. Perush.
So meaning, he's gonna go through it, but it's something that through charity I will see your face. So it's like being able to not only visualize.
So the plain translation of the text is through righteousness I will see your face. That's the plain translation.
Yeah.
But the fact is that it has become common in all Jewish communities to refer to charity as tzedakah. And tzedakah as in tziduk hadin, right? So we say that what is fair, right? When you go to a beit din tzedek, right? You go to a court of justice, right? V'hitzdiku Elokim, right? And God does justice, or the judges do justice, right? You get what is right, right? And it has become common in Jewish communities to refer to giving charity, giving money to those who are needy as tzedakah. Why? Because in giving charity, we recognize that the world belongs to God, and He has commanded us to take care of the poor. And so it is not as if, oh, we're being so kind, we're being so good. These are the things that the Lord has given to us, so that we may give them to the people who need them, right? So tzedakah, the word tzedek in Jewish understanding relates to being charitable. And that's how he's explaining this verse. In fact, that's how the Talmud is explaining this verse, right? He says, I'm very glad to hear you shackle Orthodox Boomer Grandma, because this is an ancient Jewish tradition. Kol atzmotai tomarna, all my bones shall speak God's glory. Rabbi Allah, so he gives a coin to the poor, and then he says his prayers. Why? Because ani b'tzedek echzeh panecha. Yes, shakel is what you call when I'm doing this rocking back and forth. Shakel, how is shakel spelled? This is important stuff. How do you spell shakel? Shackling. Here, I will put the first YouTube, the first Google thing, and there you go. Shackling.
Yeah.
An age-old tradition from the Jewish Independent. I haven't read this article, so don't blame me.
He says it's either because people didn't have books, so people would go in to look at the book, or they were cold. Or I can imagine, like, if I need to stay up late today and I'm reading through something, if
you shackle, yeah. So the age-old joke is I do exercise. I shackle when I daven.
Right.
That's okay. Back to the thing. So we are explaining that ani b'tzedek echzeh fanecha, right? That this this word tzedek, justice, refers to giving to the poor.
Right.
Okay? Perush. That means ki giluy elokuto yitbarach hamitgale b'machshavat במחשבתו של אדם וכוונתו בתפילתו. Right? That revelation of godliness, which is revealed in a person's mind when he is truly devoted to God in his prayers. Kol chad lefum shi'ura dile, each according to his capacity. Hu betorat tzedakah. This is through the manner of tzedakah. This is charity. V'chesed Hashem olam ad olam al yira'av. Right? God's kindness is from world to world upon those who have awe of him, who fear him. Kloma, or Hashem ein sof baruch hu hameir lemala beolamot elyonim behara rabba bechinat gilui rav ba'atzum. Right? You have that great light, the infinite light of God, which shines in the higher worlds. Ad shebe'emet hen betelim b'metziut u'chala mamash chashivei kameh. Right? That everything is in fact completely nullified and has nothing before it. And in those higher worlds, in the worlds of Atzilut, in the worlds of emanation, right? They are completely united with God. V'hen ha'hechalot im ha'malachim v'hanashamot shebahen ha'mevoarim b'zohar kadosh b'shmotam l'mekomotam b'seder ha'tfilah shesidru Lanu Anshe Knesset Hagedalah, right? Which are in the upper chambers with the angels and the souls which are with them, as explained in the Zohar, the particular places and levels which are in our liturgy that the men of the Great Assembly arranged for us. Hinei misham me'ir ha'or ki tov la'olam ha'shafal hazeh, right? That light descends and radiates all the way down into this world. Al yirei Hashem v'choshrei shamo. So all the way down to, yeah?
Sorry, you complete the sentence?
All the way down to those who have fear of God and who meditate upon his name.
So when he says that it's that the men of the Great Assembly, when they put together the liturgy, like there's references to this and how, right, you're in different worlds. Does he refer to what you can find in like the Sephardic Siddur? Like now you're in here, now you're in
right.
Here.
So in Sephardic Siddurim, these things are explained far more than in most Siddurim that are for public consumption. And they will have particular kavanot and explain from here to here, you are in this world or in that world. That is not to say that the worlds are in exclusion to one another, right? So all of the worlds are in fact infinite and coexisting, and so when you do something, it is in Asiyah, obviously, because we are in the world of action, right? And in Bria and Yetzirah, and so anything that we in creation do has ramifications into Bria and Yetzirah, usually, right? Especially if it's something that's done with intent. And but the fact is that there's a break between Atzilut and Bria, because in Atzilut there is no possibility of anything other than godliness, and so which is actually a kindness to us, right? Our sins cannot really manifest themselves in Atzilut. Now, when you are actually, but any particular thing has its root and its mitkonen. It in you could say it dwells or has
It's
it
source.
has its nest in a particular aspect of a particular world at any one time.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? So what he's explaining is that when somebody prays, right, and the light of godliness during their prayer envelops their thoughts in such a way that they have love and fear of godliness, that it is in fact a light that comes all the way from Atzilut and the greatest and the highest of worlds, which manifests itself in their mind in Avodah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? החפצים לעובדו בעבודת שבלב זאת התפילה. Right? Those who desire to serve him with the service of the heart, which is prayer. As it is written in 2 Samuel 22:29, and God will enlighten my darkness. Even in this world, which is so lowly that godliness is generally not manifest here, right? When a person is actually praying, we are doing Epistle 8 in the fourth part of Tanya. Epistle 8.
I can try to find it if you want to.
I put a link there.
Oh, okay.
Okay. והנה ירידת הארה זו למטה לעולם הזה נקראת בשם חסד השם. So this descent of this great illumination all the way down is what can be referred to as the kindness of God.
Right. Yeah, we spoke about this before, and yeah, they emphasize it in the notes, like a response to, right, to a service that's it's the kav. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. המכונה בשם מים. This is referred to as water. היורדים ממקום גבוה למקום נמוך. Right? So we refer to tzedakah, charity, as something that comes from that which is above and flows down below, like rain, right? That's chesed. Vehine. Yeah.
No,
What?
Just thinking about like going through Tanit, about how much Tanit is about, fasting is about, and listen, in the Talmud, in the tractate, is about asking for water. Like there's a, what do you call it when there's no water?
There's drought?
There's drought. So that's why you fast mainly. Like that's the main use case. But like, and I think somewhere it says that the main goal of fasting is the charity that you give after you fast, or something like that, right? Where is that?
Right. So a main thing of we fast. Obviously, there are there's aspects of repentance and giving up and sacrifice to God, but one of the main things, and possibly the most important thing that one should do when he fasts, is to take that money that he would have spent to eat and give it to the poor, and in such a way manifest kindliness in the world below, so which will arouse kindliness from the world above.
Right. So what I wanted to point out is like, just like when we're fasting and we're asking for rain, it's water coming from above. And here he also says that the kindness is like water that comes from above.
Yeah. water, and I mean the symbolism of water and kindness is very big and important. Yeah. והנה, מודעת הזאת שיש למעלה גם כן מידת הגבורה והצמצום. Right? But above, there's also justice or strictness, rigor, and tzimtzum, constriction. לצמצם ולהסתיר אורו יתברך לבל יתגלה לתחתונים. That which, in a sense, keeps and conceals God's divine light from coming below, right? How is it then that this illumination is nevertheless revealed below? Hakol talui be'aruta delatata. But all of this depends on whether there is an arousal from man below. שאם האדם מתנהג בחסידות להשפיע החיים בחסד, that if a person acts with kindness, bestowing life and kindliness, right? כך מעורר למעלה. Similarly, a similar thing will be awakened above. כמו שאמרו רבותינו זכרם לברכה, במידה שאדם מודד, modadin lo. So this is one of the things that I was never able to quote to Christians because it doesn't come from the scriptures. So I thought Christians wouldn't believe in it. But then I found out it's in the Christian scriptures. So there you go.
Where is this from?
This is from the Talmud, but Jesus quoted it from the Talmud. So there you go. So it's in the Gospels too. With a measure that man measures, so it shall be. It's Sota 5b. So it shall be measured for him. Ela de lachora zo eina min hamida. It would appear, however, that this divine response is not of the same measure. כי אם להשפיע לו חיי העולם הבא, לבד, כנגד מה שהוא משפיע חיי העולם הזה. So it doesn't make, I'll just read what it says. So such an individual would appear to deserve only that the life of the world to come be granted to him, corresponding to his bestowal of life in this world. The appropriate reward for man's bestowal of physical life in his world should surely be a corresponding bestowal of spiritual life in a higher world, the world to come, right? So we do something physically in this world, and we should expect that God should do something spiritually in the world to come. Ava, lo lashpia lo chaye or Hashem, or nusach acher, ein sof baruch hu mamash, right? But that it shouldn't be that the illumination should come into this physical world. Why is it that that illumination comes even into this spiritual world? Sheyair veyagia choshcho ba'avodat shebal, right? That he should be able to see godliness in his prayers. Shehi bechinat u'madragat teshuva ila'a kanoda, right? Which is referred to as higher repentance, right? To be able to see godliness. Shaharei hi lamala mala mikol chaye ha'olam haba. And as it says in, did you guys actually finish Pirkei Avot?
Yeah, we have probably about two more streams.
2 more streams. So, like it says in Pirkei Avot, greater is the entirety of the world to come, is an hour in the world to come than the entirety of this world, and greater is one moment of repentance in this world than the entirety of the world to come. So when we are praying to God, which is a moment of repentance when we are actually turning to God, right? And in this way, he's turning to us and revealing himself to us, right? This is greater than the entirety of the world to come. So how is it that such a great thing could be accomplished? שהרי היא למעלה מעלה מכל חיי העולם הבא. כמו שאמרו רבותינו זכרם לברכה, יפה שעה אחת בתשובה ומעשים טובים, right? Like in Avot 4:17, like we just explained, right? וכמו שנתבאר במקום אחר באריכות, as is explained elsewhere at length, the עולם הבא אינו אלא זיו והארה, right? And so what he explains, and is explained in Hasidut at length, is that Olam Haba, since it is spiritual, is a reflection of godliness, right? This leaves us with an apparent disproportion, that the practice of tzedakah before one's prayer should result in a vastly superior revelation of teshuvah ila'ah during prayer.
Right. Why such a big effect?
Correct. Ha'inyan hu al derech mashal, kamo shezorim zra'im o not'im gara'im. Right? So he's going to give us an example, like how when you plant a piece of fruit or a grain or a kernel of fruit, right? שהשיבולת הצומחת מהזרע והאילן ופירותיו מהגרעין. So you have a shoot, something that comes out of the seed or comes out of the kernel of the fruit. You have a whole tree, right? אינו מהותן ועצמותן של הזרע והגרעין כלל. Right? The tree is not something that is the essence and being of that one. Yeah, you have a peach pit, and it turns into a whole tree, right? How is it that this peach pit becomes a tree? Ki mahutan va'atzmutan kalev v'nirkav ba'aretz, right? That seed itself completely disintegrates, right? V'choach hatzomeach sheba'aretz atzma, nusach acher atzmo, hu hamotzi megadel hashibolet va'ailan uperotav, right? That the being in the ground allows it to this pattern which was engendered in the pit to gather to itself all of the necessary nutrients and everything else that's necessary in order to make that entire tree, right? רק שאינו מוציא ומגלה כוחו לחוץ מהכוח אל הפועל, כי אם על ידי הזרע והגרעין, right? But it would not be able, all of the things in the earth that are brought together and organized into this pattern to form the tree would not have been possible without the pattern being coming from that seed or kernel. שנרקבים בארץ וכלה כל כוחם בכוח הצומח שבארץ. Right? So all the material, all the essence, everything that comes and forms that tree comes from outside of that actual seed. But the seed is what allows in being destroyed, in the seed completely is obliterated, but it allows the growth of this tree. And And so these two things unite to be one complete thing. ועל ידי זה מוציא כוח הצומח את כוחו אל הפועל ומשפיע חיות לגדל שיבולת כעין הזרע.
Okay, well, just a second. What powers come together? What comes together?
Okay, so imagine you have a corn kernel, right?
Right.
And you put it into a piece of earth and you water it and it starts growing and it makes a shoot and it grows up and it makes a whole corn stalk and it grows a whole corn, right?
Right.
Now, that kernel you planted in the ground, right? What happens to the physical material parts that was in that what's it called, the ship of Theseus, right?
Familiar.
Ship of Theseus, every year they change one of the boards on the ship. It's made out of wood, and every year they change one of the boards. And after so many years, 20 years, right? Every month they change one board. After 20 years, not a single one of the boards that are there is the same board that existed 20 years ago.
Right.
Is that still the same ship?
Yeah, I mean, the same question you can ask, right, with our bodies and,
Exactly. So now we're talking about this seed that you put in the ground, right? And obviously the entire corn stalk doesn't come, and frankly, probably nothing from what is the certainly when you get a tree, right? But what comes out of that seed is the pattern, right? Is the koach, it's the potential to become that tree or that corn stalk.
Right. So what you're saying is that the power is, that's what I thought he was saying, is something about like the power of destruction and creation coming together.
No. We're talking about the material that the material. It's the power, not the power. Well, yes, the power. When we talk about power, we mean potential, right? So in the earth, there is the potential, right? There's all the atoms and the molecules and the water and the right to make up the actual tree. All of that comes from the earth, right? But how does all of that become organized into becoming the actual corn stalk or the tree?
Seed.
It comes from the potential of the seed.
Right, but we said that the seed, right, evolves, it disappears. Right?
The seed itself, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So it's the potential of the seed and the potential that is in the earth that form together, that form the tree.
Interesting. It kind of reminds me, it might be different, but it reminds me of an idea that I found very profound that I heard from Vervaeke about the
fraud. I mean, this is a whole thing. I mean, how exactly you want to take it? Yes, the carbon, most of it is carbon, and most of the carbon comes from the air, but that's a whole other thing. Yes.
So it reminds me of organized criticality.
Organized criticality.
Right. So there's an allegory about, like the allegory of the sand, where you take a bunch of sand and you just put it on the floor, let's say on a surface, and kind of organizes itself up. But then eventually at some point the bundle of sand is going to fall apart. And if you continue dropping sand will accumulate again on the base of that, on the base that collapsed. But this time, when it falls apart, it'll get even higher because it's already on a certain base, right? So there's something about creation or coming together and then falling apart, the disintegration. So we can say that the seed is disintegrating to an extent, but on top of that, something bigger comes together. So that's what it reminded me of.
Right. I mean, I hear you, although we're talking about something very different, which is the fact is we don't understand why living things, right? There's no real reason why we can't construct cells. Like, you can take all of the cells and try to we can try to construct at least in small cells which are exact replicas of living bacteria at least.
Mm-hmm.
But we still have not been able to cause them to be alive.
Right.
And that's the most crazy ununderstood thing.
Right. We keep missing the magic sauce. And what's his
what is that magic sauce?
What's the guy name with the nanobots? Not nanobots. Yeah, maybe Xenobots.
Xenobots, right?
Xenobots.
Yeah. I forget what his name is.
Yeah. Levine. Something.
Okay. If we're gonna finish, we better keep going.
Yeah, this is yeah.
ועל זה, על ידי זה מוציא כוח הצומח את כוחו אל הפועל, ומשפיע חיות לגדל שיבולת כעין הזרע, right? Through that it can grow. אבל בריבוי הרבה מאוד בשיבולת אחת, right? But we see that this one piece of one grain of corn that you planted, you can make a whole stalk with lots of corn grains. And we see that one tree which comes from one seed can have much fruit. וגם מהותן ועצמותן של הפירות מעולה בעילוי רב ועצום למעלה ממהותו ועצמותו של הגרעין והנטועה, right? And what you get can be so much greater than that which you planted. וכן כהי גבנה, and in a similar manner בפירות הארץ הגדלים מזרעותיהם כעין הגרעין כמו קישואים וכהי גבנה. And similarly, we can talk about other things like cucumbers, right? והכל הוא מפני שעיקר ושורש חיות הפירות נשפע מכוח הצומח שבארץ. And all of this happens because there's this bit of vitality from that which you are planting, which engenders itself into the soil and allows for the growing. HaKolel chayut kol haperot, right? Which includes the vitality of all that comes from it afterwards. והגרעינים והזרועים בארץ אינה אלא כעין התערותא ללטתא. And so we can go back and talk about this awakening from below that creates a much greater awakening from above, right? הנקראת בשם העלת מים נוקבין בכתבי האריזל, right? And this is what we refer to as man, right? Which is elevating the feminine waters, which is how we refer to an arousal from below. וככה ממש על דרך משל כל מעשה הצדקה שעושים ישראל, whenever a Jew does the mitzvah הצדקה, עולה מעלה בבחינת העלת מים נוקבין לשורש נשמותיהן למעלה, right? these female waters ascend all the way to their source above. Nikra b'shem Knesset Israel, that which is called the congregation of Israel. The ima tata beloshon hazahar, which is referred to in the Zohar as the lower level mother. Knesset Israel is
the lower level mode.
Yeah. Ima tata, bina is ima ila'a, and mahut is ima tata. Mahut, which is also Eretz, which is also the land, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's I think that's the connection he's making. Ushchina belashon hagamara, and this is also referred to as the Shchina. הכלולה מכל מידותיו של הקדוש ברוך הוא ומיוחדת בהן בתכלית, right? So this malchut or Knesset Israel or lower level mother is all of the attributes, the midot together. V'rashit tan hi midat hachesed, and the first of the midot of the attributes is chesed.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, we just went through this in the Omer, and there was an explanation there when we go through Malchut. Attribute of Malchut is that this is not the lowest necessarily. It's not only the lowest level,
right,
of the Sefirot. It contains all those Sefirot.
Right. Correct. Okay. ועל ידי העלה זו מתעורר חסד Hashem mamash, and through this elevation, then there's an actual arousal of God's chesed. Shehu gilui oro yitbarach legered ulaha'ir lamata l'nishmot Israel bebechinat gilui rav va'atzum b'sha'at hatefila al kol panim. At the very least, during prayers, right, there is this awakening which allows these people to actually feel godliness, see godliness, right? Ki af legedulata to ein cheker, even though his greatness is chesed, right? It's impossible to fathom it. Ad the kula kame kalachashive, right? That everything before him is as if it were not. Hare b'makom she'ata motzeh gedulato, sham ata motzeh an vetanuto. There you find God's humility. Wherever you find God's greatness, you find God's humility. And in his greatness, right, he allows his light to shine all the way down. Kamayim yordin chulu, like water that descends. V'zeu shekatuv zarach b'choshech or leyesharim chanun v'rachum v'tzadik. That's what the verse implies when it says in Psalms 112:4, he's shown in the darkness as a light unto the upright that is gracious, merciful, and tzaddik. Al yedei shaha'adam chanun v'rachum v'tzaddik tzedakot ahev. For by being gracious and merciful and tzaddik, right, which is someone who loves tzedakot, loves doing kindness, gorem laor Hashem sheyizrach lenishpato hamelubeshet begufo haomed b'choshech shehu mashka dechivya. Right? So in this manner, that someone who loves tzedakah brings light all the way down to the darkness where his soul is engendered into this hide of the snake. Yes.
Right. Even through the layers of
Right.
whatever it is that is affecting you, cynicism or whatever else.
Correct. וזה נקרא בשם ישועה. And this is what is called deliverance. כך התהפכה חשוכה לנור הרע. Right? That's when darkness is converted to light. וזהו מצמיח ישועות. And that's what we mean when we talk about he causes to sprout deliverance. שישועה זו צומחת מזריעת הצדקה שזורעין בארץ העליונה. For this salvation sprouts from the charity that is sown in the supernal land. ארץ חפץ היא השכינה וכנסת ישראל שנקראת כן על שם שמתלבשת בתחתונים להחיותם. Right? So Eretz Chefetz, the desired land, it can refer to the land of Israel, but it also refers to the Shekhinah, and it refers to the congregation of Israel. Kamosh Katuv Malchutcha Malchut Kol Alamim. So Malchut and Eretz are linked, right? And we say Malchutcha Malchut Kol Alamim, right? Your sovereignty is sovereignty in all of the worlds. And Fraud kind of has this correct when he says the end is embedded in the beginning, right? Like you were saying with Malchut, right? This is the final week. And actually today was the 49th day, Malchut Sheba Malchut, right? Ubifrat min haprat. This applies most particularly shezorim be'eretz hakodesh hatachtona, right? When you sow in the land of Israel itself, the Holy Land, mechuvenet kenegda mamash, which is in a real sense corresponds to it. It is the emblem of higher Malchut. Shahazri'ah nikletet tekef umiyad ba'aretz ha'elyona. And because of this, it is immediately absorbed in the supernal one. Bli shum miniyah ve'ikuv ba'olam, without any hindrance or obstacle, which actually is part of the reason why Shavuot is only one day in Eretz Israel and it's 2 days outside, right? Because it requires greater time for the holiness to imbue in the day. מאחר שאין שום דבר חוצץ ומפסיק כלל בין ארצות החיים, because there's no intervention between those lands of life, right, which is the source of Jewish souls, and the lands of life, which is the physical Holy Land. כי זה שער השמיים, because that is the gate of heaven. מה שאין כן בחוץ לארץ ודאי למיבן. Which is not true in other places, and someone who understands these things, I don't know who that would be, would understand.
Maybe I'm an amalgamation of all the people that watch this.
Maybe. Could be.
Beautiful. It's nice to be able to read this before the Chag. Go through it. Study a little bit.
וממשלתך בכל דור ודור.
I hope you have a good Chag.
You as well.
And I hope you rest. Hope your homework are going to go well and quick.
Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can finish my homework before Chag starts. Okay, it's nice
Thank
talking
you.
to you. Don't do anything I would do.
I don't think so.